Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guests tonight are filmmakers Erik and Carson Bloomquist. How's it going, guys?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good. Let's talk about Founders Day. It was a brutal, fun film. And you guys been you worked on the script since of May of 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a journey. It has evolved as we have evolved, but we're happy we made it now.
Yeah, I did really enjoy it, and I love it because it's a love letter to slasher and satire in a small town USA, which makes it like unique and original.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah,
glad it resonated.
We wanted it to be what do we say? A love letter to and satire of small towns.
Yeah, I like it. It was good, but you didn't have to take it seriously as well. And I can tell you got your inspiration kind of from like Wes Craven.
He's definitely, an early route for us, as he is for many people. And we wanted to create a feeling like what we felt, but not necessarily follow the same framework. But we grew up on those movies, and My Soul to Take was also shot in the same town that we filmed in, so it was kind of a nice parallel.
Mm-hmm. And since you guys work together, you guys like take turns working behind the camera, in front of the camera. So what's that like for you guys to do that all the time? Do you learn each time you do that from working behind and in front of the camera?
Yeah, and we have a shorthand too, which is nice, and we share a lot of thoughts since we write together and we're on set together. We kind of know where each other's minds are at, or someone might have an idea that we trust each other about. So, for Founders Day, for instance, Erik's on camera a bunch, and I'm there watching his back, knowing what he's looking for, and having those conversations. So it's just great to have that connection, especially in those scenes when he's on camera.
Now let's talk about the mask. Who created that mask?
Tony Gardner and Alterian's company. We had an amazing artist who worked on it, Josh Schneider, and a couple of the folks at Alterian that weighed in on it. And they're responsible for some of like the coolest, memorable effects and designs of the last 30 years. I think Tony, who founded it, was a zombie in the Thriller video. He's been Chucky's puppeteer for years now, and he made Billy Butcherson and Hocus Pocus. There's just a long line, so we're very thankful to be in that company. Especially
the mask. I love how the facial expressions changes on the mask, like the different frowns. That was kind of clever.
Thank you. Yeah, it's two-sided. So you have it's a theater mask that shows the duality of one side being joy and one side being the tragedy side of the mask, and we wanted it to be a play on political theater as well. So that was an inspiration there. It's also got this really deep red to signify the political nature and also the horror blood kind of spilling nature of the movie. So we kind of loved how it all clicked in.
I also loved the wooden gavel with the switchblade inside. That was clever. Who built that?
Our pal John Latterbach. We gave him this crazy idea, and he said, "I can build that." And we thought it would be a cool way to keep a blade in play, but have the weapon be a little bit more unique
and signature
and specific to the character. Yeah.
Damn, I want one of those.
Yeah. They're pretty sweet. We have a couple of them.
Feel good in the hand.
Yeah.
Oh, that would feel great. And then just in case, when you have to be judge, jury, and executioner, you can just pop out that switchblade and just slit somebody.
That's the idea. Slice and dice.
Yeah. You also worked with Amy Hargreaves before Founders Day. What was that like working with her again, and what brought you for her to become part of Founders Day?
She's wonderful. We worked together on a very different movie called Intermedium that will be coming out this year. But this was a kind of polar opposite role, but we thought that she would crush it, just from the way that we had worked together and some stuff that we'd seen her in before, and different muscles, and she loved it and just jumped in early, and we kind of built out from there. But we tend to try to start each movie by using some actors we've used before, because there's a family dynamic to the whole thing, and I think that there's a trust and a foundation that's built there when you do that I think is to the benefit of the movies for sure.
Another cool actor you added on to in the movie too was William Russ from Boy Meets World. I thought that was kind of awesome. I was a big fan of Boy Meets World. That was neat how you added William Russ.
Yeah, us too. That show was huge for us growing up, and him sort of being America's dad in some way for us was just very, very cool to be in the presence of, and also be able to utilize him in this role of this person who's been there for decades, and in a way he's been there the same way for us in our life. So there's that kind of like familiarity, even if you don't immediately strike him, because obviously he looks different now. You kind of sense you might know him, which is who that character is, which is really nice.
So where'd you guys?
He's a great guy.
Yeah, where'd you guys film this movie at?
In New Milford, Connecticut, a small town in northwestern Connecticut, 20 minutes from anywhere. So it's its own little pocket that we were happy to be in for a few weeks.
Yes,
I loved watching it because it felt like a Mayberry feel too.
Yeah, it was a special. It was a special play, and we kind of built some scenes around what the town offered. So we kind of tailored some stuff that had been in the script around the locations that we had, which we always like to do because it makes it feel more lived in and specific.
Who created the makeup and the special effects?
John, who made the gavel, was on set doing a lot of the blood gags. It was, it's just lovely to know somebody who knows how to do that, because it's truly an art form. It really, really is.
Yeah. I think so too. Do you guys think there will ever be a sequel to Founders Day?
We'll see.
We'll see. We have ideas of what we'd do. Time will tell. And we didn't know we would be thinking that way at first, but
then we started getting asked.
Yeah, so we know what we would do, but who knows?
I think it would be great to see a sequel and see what happens after the first film and all that. So, what do you guys think about having your film, shown at the bigger theaters? Because there's a lot of indie horror films showing more at the mainstream movie theaters too. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think it's special. It's the way we design it to be seen. There's, it'll be great when people can, cuddle up with their laptop or whatever and just watch it right up against their face. But I do think that we've gotten reports and we've witnessed firsthand when there are groups of people watching this, there's a kind of vocal reaction and participation that you can have when you're in a group that is very specific to the theatrical setting, as is the case with a lot of movies. But there are just some moments that consistently hit when there is a group in the room. And I think that we're glad that more people have been able to have the opportunity to watch it that way.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, because when I saw it, I sat with a bunch of people at an AMC theater, and through that whole movie, everybody was like getting into it. They were at the edge of their seats, and certain things you hear the whoa, wow, and all that. It just felt great to film it with other people, watching a horror film. That's the best part about seeing a horror film on the big screen. You get it
kind of lets people react, like people that might not otherwise allow themselves to make a noise or move. Like seeing other people do it lets them get into it too, and everybody just
for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I also watched another film you guys did. It was 10 Minutes to Midnight. I just watched that on Tubi. That film blew my mind. I mean, it was just different, and it just kept me on the edge of my seat. And I love how you got Carolyn Williams to play the vampire DJ. I don't know how you brought her in, but she just nailed that role to the T. And she made me convince myself that she was actually a legit live vampire.
Well, I'll make sure we tell her that.
She came to play. That's obviously a very different movie, very cerebral, kind of
surrealist,
somewhat Lynchian, I guess you could say, take. But she is awesome in that, and it's cool to have the parallel of Stretch, kind of from Texas Chainsaw to this, and just fun for us and fun for her.
Because that movie has a lot to do with memory and
time,
legacy and time, and I think that it just became all the more resonant when she jumped in.
Yeah.
Oh man, she freaked the crap out of me, especially when she started, sucking on that bloody tampon.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. Not many people love that.
Carson, that was Carson's idea. He's like, Eric, what if she? I was like, Carson, and he was like, we have to.
It's happening.
That was wild. I was just sitting there cringing when she was doing that. I was like, damn. And I love the cast of characters and actors you brought into the film. I like them because they were like very quirky about themselves, especially the security guard. Here he is, making these like, weapons, to get ready to kill a vampire, and he's so absent-minded, and he doesn't even realize what's going on. And then her messed up boss, he was cracking the hell out of me in that movie.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear this.
I like that more people are discovering this movie now. I think that like people are, when people stumble on it, they're like, oh, that was kind of weird and cool, and like that's what we like.
Crazy little thing.
Yeah.
But everyone's so distinct in that movie, and kind of adds an interesting angle to the whole nightmare of an evening.
We talked about one day it might be cool to like turn it into like a 1-act stage play or something, like an hour and 20-minute stage play, and just like and you feel like you're in the radio station, and so we'll see what happens.
That'd be pretty wild, and especially the office party. That was so hilarious. I mean, you're seeing everything that you wouldn't even think of seeing. You're like, what the fuck did I just see in this party scene?
I'm so glad.
And we had some other stuff we would have done had we had more time to shoot that movie. We had some other gross out stuff we would have put in that party.
But it's cool because it kind of plays like an extended episode of a Lost anthology show.
Yeah, that's what we wanted it to feel like, an extended episode of like, oh, I never saw this episode of Tales from the Crypt.
And another cool thing I liked, one of my favorite shots in the film was the pan shot where you had Carolyn. She was like in an all-black room with a red phone, and she was like a bloodthirsty vampire, but you kind of also felt her feeling her human self again when she was answering that phone call to the caller. You kind of felt almost the human side of her too, when she was like, being this bloody vampire. You just felt for her in that scene, and the cinematography pan shot was just phenomenal.
Thanks, man. So much. It's nice to hear that about that movie. That was a crazy shoot and kind of a miracle movie that we pulled off, as they all are. But I appreciate that you're picking up on those things, because that's one we hope more people stumble on as our trajectory hopefully grows.
Yeah.
And I love the music in the film too. I'm a big fan of film music and scores. I mean, you had some cool music in there too. I mean, it was just a great film. So when you guys filmed that, was that at a local radio station, or did you guys just make or built the station to look like they were really at a radio station?
It was at a real radio station. We shot overnight, so as they were wrapping out for the day at like 5 or 6, we were rolling in, and we shot till sunrise, and then they would come in and do their day.
Yeah.
So we lived like vampires for believe it or not, we shot that movie in 7 days. So we lived like vampires for a week, and just shot like crazy.
So how did Carolyn like playing the whole vampire through the whole film, and how much fun was it to work with her?
Oh, she's a force of nature.
That's how I describe it. Yeah, she knew how to jump in and take the scene by storm, and sort of like, I think, had an energy about her that was very very much a leader type of energy that kind of worked really well.
No inhibitions, lots of trust. I mean, just threw herself onto the ground, crawling around eating tampons at 2:30 in the morning. So God bless her. We are forever grateful for that.
I bet you did. You can tell she was a true trooper. And there was another film I watched of your guys' that was on Tubi too, before I got on the podcast with you guys, I had to check out some of your films. You also did another horror film. It was set at a summer camp, which is pretty wild. The whole pricky thing, and the killer ghost from the camp. That movie was pretty wild, especially the kills, man. I like it because it had like that 80 vibes feel. And I love the camp counselor, who had the mullet haircut, man. He kind of reminded me of Kiefer Sutherland from Lost Boys.
That was the idea.
Yeah, I think the character himself is trying really hard to be and overcompensating in a number of ways during the movie. But
that's the same actor also who played the deputy in Founders Day. So we tend to, when I talk about like actors that we use a lot, he appears in a lot of our stuff.
But I'm going to tell you something. Those kills were just brilliant in it. And I love all the good and blood. And then I love the one scene where you had the jars of blood hanging from the trees like that. Was that your idea, Connor?
Yeah, Carson.
Okay, Carson. Sorry. I'm just having fun talking to you guys.
Connor I've gotten to work.
It's okay. It's not a bad day.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, yeah, that was. It was something that spoke to me, the imagery of it and sort of the idea of Agatha and her lair. It just felt very visceral and also just made a lot of plot points click at the same time. And it's a fun way to introduce the movie and say, this is what you're going to be in for. So.
I think that's an example of how we write, too, because there was, it opened without the scary opener, just opened at camp, and then Carson was like, let me take a crack at something, and he grabbed the laptop, and I got it back, and he had written like a page of like this prologue and had mentioned the jars hanging from the trees, which we then integrated into other parts of the movie. So that's just kind of a way that we build together.
Yeah.
And you guys had Michael Park in the film. That guy is a legend, man. He's done so many great films. He's done so many great like biker films back in the 60s and 70s. How'd you guys get Mike Park?
You mean Sadler?
Yeah, you had Sadler in there. Yeah,
Sadler. So we wrote to him and kind of gave an appeal and talked about the character, and the character resonated with him, and he was available, and we chatted, and it lined up, and we were just so happy because he just lends a real sense of gravitas and weight. Because the movie really is about family and legacy, and stories and secrets, and I think having somebody like that has that gravitas and weight, functioning differently but similarly to the way that William Russ functions in Founders Day, that just gives a sense of legitimacy to what we're doing.
So when you did that film, some people do certain films based off their life story or, like their trauma or good things about their lives. Were any of these films based off your lives or anything?
I had an affair with a nurse, and
I mean,
how Summer Camp made us feel.
How Summer Camp made us feel, and elements of stories we told each other, and the spirit of that. It's always been sort of in us, and a central kind of camp family, and extended family with the kids at camp was something central to us growing up as well. So kind of making a film that used all of those elements was definitely a personal thing for us.
I bet it did. And this was filmed at a legit summer camp, too. You guys found a summer camp out in the mountains, right?
Yeah, it was a legit summer camp, and now defunct, interestingly enough. I guess that was our fault. But it was fun. It was right before they opened for the summer. And
it's a beautiful time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
And also in the movie, man, half of those little kids, man, I wanted to kill them myself. Those kids were little ornery and mean and bloody killers for Agatha, man.
They were awesome. They're all horror kids with horror dads, and they know they're scary movies, and they were having a blast just running around till midnight every night.
I bet you guys probably filled them enough Twinkies and Ding Dongs and hot dogs, right?
They got like rice bowls and paninis.
Listen, they ate
pretty well for themselves.
Well. I think they like the candy too, but they did have good lunches.
Yeah, I mean, all the three films we just talked about, I really enjoyed them. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing next. I just love your uniqueness of your storytelling, and how you shoot with your with the camera for certain cinematography shots. I mean, I just like it. Your films I've watched, it felt like it was very fresh, like fresh horror films, than something that you see over and over again with the same killer. I just like the uniqueness and freshness of your films.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. We just want there to be this air of like playfulness to most things that we do, if not everything that we do. So we're very happy to hear when that translates, because that's the goal.
Yeah, I'm being for real about that, because there's not a lot of original ideas out there. That's why I like indie horror so much, because you guys, the filmmakers, you guys put your blood, sweat, and tears into making this film. Come up with the script, and trying to get the certain actors for the certain roles and finding the shooting sites and all that. I give you guys respect, for doing all that. And a lot of people don't realize how much hard work it takes to really, make a great film, and plus the funding, because that's real hard to get funding too. There's sometimes you can make a film, but you're not going to have that much money to make that film. And sometimes, it sucks where you have to cut certain scenes out or this and this. I mean, I feel for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a battle every day, but we rather be fighting than not taking part, I think.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' next project you guys going to be doing?
Oh, that's the question, isn't it?
Working on it. Our project is figuring it out.
We're doing some we're sketching some stuff out as soon as we're off this Zoom call, actually. So we'll be able to report back at some point, hopefully.
Is it going to be
we have ideas.
We have a handful of ideas that we've kind of been percolating for quite a while, and we're just kind of figuring out which one we can, take out of the box.
So is it going to be like very bloody and brutal? It's going to be like a super brutal, bloody, fun film?
Very well could be. Who knows?
I think blood is a safe bet.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. I always ask this to my guests. I'm going to ask both of you. In one word, what does horror mean to you?
In one word?
Yes.
Comfort.
Oh, okay. A comfort film. So you're saying comfort. So what's that comfort horror film you go to if you're saying comfort?
Oh, that's tricky. That's really tricky. Erik, say your word first, and then I'll think of it.
My word is imagination.
Yeah.
That's a good one, because that can really play with your mind and freak you out. I like that one. So, yeah, go ahead.
We watch old Goosebumps episodes when we want comfort.
Yeah. Things from our childhood. I think that's a good example. It's hard to find a singular movie, but things like that, when there's episodic kind of components to it, it's like, bring it back. I love that stuff.
You guys had to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, too. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
That was number one, for sure.
Yeah.
That fed into She Came from the Woods. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a great series, man. I mean, they did some movies and try to reboot it, but it's just not the same as the original Nickelodeon series. I'm sorry.
It was lightning in a bottle.
If we ever got the opportunity to go and do like a 5-episode anthology reboot, we would be very excited for the opportunity.
Oh, if you do, you got to put Agatha in it.
Yeah. Noted.
Yeah, and then get an episode with Carolyn Williams in it. Have her playing some crazy psycho or something.
She'd love that.
Oh, she would eat that up.
Yeah.
Where's
like she ate that.
Or make it where she's like a serial killer stalking her prey.
I'll pitch her right when we're off.
Yeah, please do that and tell her, I liked her performance in the film too. So, where can everybody find you guys on social media and also see what you're going to be doing next?
So, with Founders Day, you can find on Instagram at Founders Day Movie, and generally we are Mainframe Pictures. We're at Mainframe Pictures, and we're also at our names.
If you just search our names, you'll find us individually.
And what was the follow-up question there? Okay.
Yeah, see, you answered my question.
We're still in a daze right now. We've been traveling a ton nonstop, and it's been wonderful. So we're sometimes a little bit loopy.
Oh, I can tell you guys are loopy, man. I feels like I'm talking to two zombies. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
I'm just messing with you guys. I just like to have fun. But I know you guys are busy guys and all that, but I'm going to say thank you for coming out of your busy time in your zombie mode to come in and have a blast with me tonight.
Thank you so much.
Of course, we are always happy to talk about them, and thank you for watching the other ones too. We are always happy when people rediscover these older ones.
Yeah, because I just discovered them on Tubi. There's a lot of great horror on Tubi, and and I saw both of those films. I was like, I'm gonna watch that. So I watched 10 Minutes to Midnight. I like it. I definitely need to get that on Blu-ray. I'm a supporter of physical media.
Well, there's some bonus features on that Blu-ray, so you certainly should.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I have it on my shelf. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere, but I don't see it right
now. Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that one. And then once Founders Day comes out on Blu-ray, I'm definitely gonna get that too. But 10 Minutes to Midnight, I would have to say so far of your films, it's my fave until I discover more of your films. And then someday I would love to get Caroline Williams onto the podcast so I can pick her head and see what her thoughts was working with you guys and being part of that film too. So
she's had an amazing career. I will pass it on. She's quite the treasure chest of industry history.
Yeah.
Yep, and like I said, thank you so much. It was a blast.
Thank you,
man. Thank you for checking it out for the time. Really appreciate it.
All right, and everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight.